You're like, hey, we're a big.
Well, I went back in time and I got my hair. Steelers Nation Australia headband. We'll get you some like high socks. We'll get you some like these shorts.
Hey,
shorts.
you're standing up. Hey, easy.
Yeah.
It's like balls of fairy.
So when JJ52 says, will Ray Gun make the 53? No, she's cut.
If you're not going to take Ray Gun, I know a place in Western Pennsylvania where she'll fit right in. Right at the cookie table at a wedding.
She could be my second string long
Call her
snapper.
Dr. Boogie or the Dr. Get Down and tell her she has a PhD in Get Down. Like, play the music,
You know what? If she'd had some bling, and looked like LL Cool J and I'm gonna knock you out, she might have won.
Alrighty, Steelers Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia, and also welcome back to Steelers Dynasty Podcast, where I'm going to bring on the host of the show, Bubba. What's going on, Bubba? How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm getting ready. It's less than a week, and then we'll have a lot to talk about, but probably still nothing to talk about, which in fact actually makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty excited now. Like, you got a week to go. Of course, we've still got the TJ news, Aaron Rodgers news we'll talk about, quarterback news, all that kind of stuff. But now we have the draft in 10 days time, and it's Easter coming up. Do you celebrate Easter the same time, right? There's no difference there, is there?
I think I don't know. I used to watch the Ten Commandments, eat some.
What do you have? Is it this weekend? Is your Easter this weekend?
Well, no, actually, it's WrestleMania weekend, so Easter is on the back burner. Sorry.
But is it Easter? Like,
it is Easter. Yes, yeah, it is.
All right.
But yeah, I'll eat some chocolate.
Tell you what,
watch wrestling.
I was watching it last night on YouTube, because YouTube does a really good thing in this, and so does WWE. That was showing WrestleMania 9, a full live event, or the video, and it was outside in Vegas.
Yep.
And that's when they had the clowns and stuff like that. I watched Shawn Michaels versus Tatanka, I think it was, for a little bit. Then
You're
I
absolutely
got a little bit bored. I was like, that's pretty cool. A little bit bored. Then another one came up, and I watched the TLC match at WrestleMania with Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudleys, and that was insane. And Rhino was there, and then I was like, that's right. You talked with Rhino on your podcast.
I did.
And I was like, that was pretty cool. I was like, I'm watching a bloke that I saw a podcast, a guy who you know is Rhino, and I know him from the Gore.
It's 6 degrees. Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of separation right there.
Yeah, and that match was insane, dude. Like, they got pushed off the middle of the ring through 2 tables. Swanton bomb onto Rhino and Spike Dudley. It was nuts.
Crazy.
It was insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just like the power bomb of last Wednesday's 4-hour Pat McAfee show. Waiting for something to happen and nothing. I
forgot we did
okay. That. It was okay, but I mean, Ben looked good, man. I mean, we could suit Ben up right now, and I think we probably have a.
Well, let's get the other half of the panel here from the Steelers Dynasty podcast, and that's Shano. Let's get his expert opinion on the show that was last week on the Pat McAfee show. G'day, Shane. What's going on?
Hi, Shane. Oh, he's in his house.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Got him.
Hello. There you go. No.
And now his mic doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. What's going on, Shane? Doesn't work. Can't hear you. All right. We'll kick him out. See you, Shane. You've now been eliminated.
He's got a lot to talk about because he was ready to go. He was ready to go. Yeah, he'll be there. I thought he was parking lot.
Last week we had I think I'm done. I think I'm 110% done with the A-Rod thing. I don't care anymore if he signs. It almost looks like he's taken the Steelers for a laugh at the moment, and the organization too is a bit of a failure, because next week is apparently the Steelers' off-season activities when they start doing some workout drills and stuff. So you need your quarterback there.
Yeah, you would think.
Mason.
I think on your other show, what'd you call him? Mason Vick or something?
No, Afton. Afton said
Afton
Mason Wick.
Oh,
as in
Wick.
John Wick.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
All right, let's try Shano again now. You there, Shano?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Loud and clear, mate.
Well, I was just hooking up my headset. So, guys, I'll tell you what. Pat Mac was a great show, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted it, but I'll tell you what, it was entertaining as all heck. But we'll see what happens with the draft.
You guys were on for like 4.5 hours.
Oh, we were going till it ended, and it was 12 o'clock when it ended, and it just made for a long time. I thought he was going to come out at the end. There was a little hope, but it just, you know.
All right, let's just quickly then go around where you guys stand on the A-Rod stuff, because I'm out. I don't care anymore. If he signs, great. If he doesn't,
I'm with you.
I'm done. I'm just like, I'm down. What about you, Bubba?
I'm done. I'm with you. I'm out.
Shane?
Who?
Okay, so no one cares anymore. Like, that was his time to sign. And we're going to move on to better things. I've actually got a bit of a theory that I feel like the Steelers might be playing this a bit boring to a sense. And maybe the theater is next year in the draft. Maybe they just go and get the D tackle in round 1. They go and get some pieces and they do best player available. And they draft maybe a round 3, round 4 quarterback. And they go with Mason Rudolph. Maybe that could be the whole thing all along, because everything's been pushed around the A-Rod stuff and the Sanders, and that's what Sanders coming to the Steelers. But he's now been linked to the Browns, the Saints, the Giants. Every team before the Steelers at 21, he's been linked to. So my reflection now, my viewpoint, I really feel like that Mason Rudolph could be their guy. Doesn't have to be the guy for every other team, but our guy for 2025. And then the rest of it is playing a boring, simple draft, D tackle, O lineman, and then you move into some crazy things next year. What do you think about that, Shane? What do you think? Like, what's the direction of the team now?
I think you're spot on. I think what's going to happen is with the 83rd pick, they're going to pick a quarterback. Nothing to write home about. Maybe a future backup, like a Quinn Ewers or from Texas, or maybe a Will Howard if he falls that down low enough.
That's what I was thinking too.
Or the guy from Syracuse. So. They were talking about the guy from Syracuse.
I think that's like worst case, because I think he's way, that kid is way down there. So if you can get Ewers or Howard, it depends. Vegas might pick up Will Howard with the 68th pick, and then I don't know. The Steelers. There's so much going on, guys, with just rumors about the Steelers maybe trading up through either trading TJ or some other way of getting a better pick. And
it's on draft. It's on DraftKings, the ratio of Watt getting traded, from what I heard from one of my coworkers at work today, and I couldn't believe it. I don't know how true it is because I didn't have a chance to look at that site, but they have speculated and bet, I think, on that DraftKings, where he's going to get traded to the New England Patriots. Yeah, I know. I was like,
where's that come from?
It comes from DraftKings. That's all I know.
You're wasting your money if you think they're going to be drafted to traded away.
I'm traded. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Anyways, I do think at this point there's a lot, like Shane said, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of moving parts. Trade this guy, quarterback, move up. They're waiting for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the Steelers are just playing it safe. Maybe, because how long has everything's been going now? For 2 months of like, should he come here? Should he not come here? Maybe they're just playing it safe, and Rudolph could be their guy, or you go and get, like Gene said, Howard in the 4th. I've seen ideas around that too, or get a guy from the 3rd or 4th pick, and you just build the roster, right? What do you think, Bubba? What's the direction right now after all these podcasts, after all this talk? We still have Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. He just got married, apparently, from the Steelers' Instagram. And by the way, too, the Steelers just shouted out, they fucking shouted out TJ Watt on their page, talking about his story. They're not going to trade away that bloke. Anyways, what do you think? What's the direction?
I don't know, but here's this craziness, and it's been a lot longer with this Aaron Rodgers stuff. I believe this Aaron Rodgers stuff has been going on since even last year when they played. You know what I mean? It just... or when they didn't play. Well, a couple of years ago, there's been this love thing with, Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers playing at. It's Don to me, but also too, let me ask you and Shane a question. Like, look at Sam Darnold. Never had a good year. Last year he had a great year. Now, could Mason Rudolph do the same thing?
I don't see why not. I think he played pretty good with the Steelers in the December to remember. He played okay, I think, with Tennessee Titans, but that team's a bit of shambles. Thank you, Afton, as well, for the gifted 5 memberships to HDU, Hooley Dooly University. I have been busier than usual, which is I'm always busy anyway, so I haven't been around the YouTube parts as much this weekend. I was out playing pickleball. I was playing doubles, and I won 2 singles and lost 2. And in my doubles, I got carved up, but I just got to get a bit fitter. If I'm a bit fitter, I would have won the all 4 singles. I played this guy. I kid you not. Every hit I hit to him, he was there in a heartbeat. Like he went step, and he was there. I was doing 8, 9, 10-point rallies with him, and he shouldn't be doing that. That's how I got so tired.
So before Shane asked your training expertise in pickleball, is it like dodgeball? Is that how you have to train? Like dodgeball and pickleball is the same kind of thing to get yourself.
Well, it's just it's a lot of small step movement, like tiny steps to move around the court, right? You know, when you're moving like a crab around the court. And when you're playing singles, it's only you. So when you drive the ball all the way to the back end, you've got to rush the net and play volley and push him back. This guy that I was playing, he was much fitter than I was, and I'm not that fit. So then he came to the net, and I was trying to outdink him out doing small shots, and I got into the 8-10 hit rallies, and I couldn't outbeat him. But I should have beat him from the start by hitting it super quick and hard, and then force him to make the error, which I didn't do.
Shane, I let him in the game. He needs to go out in his yard with a couple chickens and chase after him.
Chickens, just threaten that you're going to have.
I haven't got any chickens in Australia. What do you mean I got chickens? What do you want to do? Chase kangaroos around over here?
You might have to.
Wallabies, they're small. That just
is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Like, didn't boxers do that, or didn't like they chase chickens to get fit?
Well, run from chickens too. I had a rooster that was called. Yeah, it was called a Jersey Giant. It was 15 pounds, and they used to chase the kids through the yard. It was horrendous. It was mean.
Yeah, chase them. Afton says chase some snakes. Yeah. I was playing pretty good the first game I played in singles, because the other ones in doubles I got carved up, right? So we don't want to talk about that. But in singles, I won the first 2. I beat the guy 21 to 6. We're playing rally scoring, so you score every point. And the other one I won 22-20. And I was like, oh yeah, chase huntsman and drink. That's gross, dude. Koala milk. That sounds gross.
Why? You sound like you've had it before. Is it delicious?
No.
Gene, how would you know, Gene?
I don't know if that's a thing. But yeah, it was a bit of fun. I don't know where I was going that tangent. Sorry about that. I also went pickleball and stuff. I completely forgot my train of thought.
It's okay. We were talking. It doesn't matter.
Because
but it's just the disarray of what we're talking about is just the Steelers disarray that we've been dealing with for the past couple of months.
The Rodgers stuff. Yeah, I think the Steelers now, like, there's all these media things and to trade TJ and trading Pickens, which we talked about a few weeks ago, which looks like it's not going to happen. They're going to stay with him, which is fair enough. But maybe the Steelers are just going with the standard. They go in the draft, and Bubba, are they gonna just pick up a round 1 D tackle or D lineman and go from there?
They better, or I'll be very happy if they do, because that is a key ingredients to something that we need, because we don't have that. We just need to get some key components. I mean, if they draft a running back in the 3rd round and get a quarterback in the 4th, I think I'll be okay. Maybe a linebacker. I don't know. The draft is so hard because you don't know who's going to be there when you get there. And as long as they don't draft Sanders, if they do, I'll probably have a seizure, because then you got to deal with his kid. His jersey is getting retired in Colorado.
I saw that, and same with Hunter as well. What's going on there, Shane? Why are they retiring all these numbers in colleges?
Okay, check it out. Cordell Stewart, who took them to a national championship and won in 91, does not have his jersey retired.
That's terrible.
And you have Sanders, who wasn't even in the running for the Heisman. They were in the running for a Big 12 championship, but didn't even come close at the very end of the season. They lost by 2 games that they lost at the end. You have to win either your conference championship, be a Heisman, Heisman finalist at least. He has none of those. It's just because his dad brought a lot of bucks to the Colorado Buffs program. It's total horseshit.
So who were the Buffaloes before Deion Sanders took the team over? Were they a struggling college franchise?
They were one. I think they won one game that year. The year before, they won one game. They were.
But they had a good program before.
In the 90s, they were solid. They won it used to be the Big 8 with Nebraska. They won that conference years ago. It had Nebraska and Texas and Oklahoma in it, and it was a tough conference. And they left to go to the Pac-12 and thought the grass would be greener, and they were never really relevant since then, since the 90s. So.
Well, we used to get a lot of Steelers from Colorado. We had a lot of good Steelers from Colorado.
Great program. It's a beautiful campus.
Just not Sanders this year.
Yeah, nice campus. The fans are rabid. They're kind of like the West Virginia University of the West. It's the same type of fan base. A lot of blue collar guys and gals. And
so where is that? Is that in Buffalo? Is it Colorado Buffalo?
No, Colorado. It's I think
Denver,
right outside of Colorado.
Yeah.
It's just north of Colorado. I've driven through there.
So my I don't understand
Denver,
how many numbers in 20 years time, they still keep playing in 50 years time. How many numbers are fucking left? Like they keep retiring all these numbers, like all these teams do.
Put it this way: you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Penguins have. Yager and Lemieux are the only two that I saw that were up in the rafters. The Steelers don't have they have a lot of players that have retired jerseys, but they also have multiple championships. I mean, in order to have your jersey retired, you have to be part of a storied program, a dynasty, if you could say that, like Lemieux, Crosby. That's a rafter jersey. Steelers wise, Ben Roethlisberger's probably a rafter jersey.
Probably the only
He's
one.
Not retired yet though. Like the Steelers have numbers you can't use: 43, 86, 7, stuff like that at the moment, right? They have three retired jerseys. My question is, and maybe I don't know if the NFL is going to last that long or the college football programs. There's only 99 numbers. I always find it funny when they retire these jerseys all the time. It's crazy. Oh, there it is. Colorado's in Boulder. Oh, west of Denver.
Maybe they'll go in 100, like 101. They'll put 101, little 102, maybe 100.
Yeah, Toddy says start using all the numbers and start using letters or symbols. I don't know. I just find that interesting. So you're saying, Shane, he's not worth the prize ticket of retiring his number and maybe the overall build-up hype, because everyone's talking about Sanders now. The whole ESPN's talking about where's he going to go.
Well, they made him play his rap song at the stadium for bullshit. And it's just a lot of hand greasing kind of, Steelers fans do not want that bullshit.
But they're going to get it. If it happens, it could happen, and it's not going to be good.
The guy's a jagoff, but you know what?
And his dad's coming with him.
Exactly. It's going to be crazy. I'm a big fan of the show. I love watching that Amazon Prime show, Prime Time. Great show. A lot of fun. Get you behind the scenes of what a college football program does day in and day out. You get to see what they eat, how they train, how they interact with players. It's great.
So, Shane, you're a college dude, right? You're in the college, right? I find this interesting, too, because everyone's talking about Sanders, but no one's talking about number one pick, which is Cam Ward, because he already has a job, right? Do you think that takes away from him and his
No. Did you see the video of Cam Ward dogging on Sanders in workouts for the?
No.
Yeah, there's video out there. Cam Ward is just giving Sanders a hard time, and
as in like verbally or like with actions.
He's like, "Hey, man, you don't even worry about it. You're not a number one guy. You're not a first round guy." It's the kind of shit he was saying.
And he wouldn't be either if there was a little bit more quarterback class caliber in his class.
Right. Next year's class is going to be a lot better. Last year's class was a lot better. This year's kind of like a.
But don't you think like the light goes away because everyone knows the Titans are taking Cam Ward? That's going to be like a factual thing. They can hide as much as they can.
Yeah, pretty much. Just what people are saying Shedeur Sanders is going to fall a little bit in the draft, and if that happens, he could fall in the Steelers' lap.
I'll be so mad.
I would rather have, of course, Jackson Dart, but Jackson Dart's stock has went up, and I don't think the Steelers are going to trade up for him. So here we are. Will they in the third round? Will they wait?
Is his stock chain that enough to make him a franchise quarterback, or somebody that we can all get around as being a number one pick? Dart, Sanders, or any number one quarterback in this draft?
Dart might be. I don't really see anybody in this class. It's like a Brock Purdy. That's kind of like or Mahomes. Mahomes was a slinger and really good at Texas Tech. Put up crazy numbers against West Virginia. West Virginia actually beat him 2 years, but it's just one of those things that see, Sanders didn't have a good offensive line. So could he be an NFL caliber quarterback? Absolutely. Is he smart enough? Yeah. His football IQ is fantastic. It's is he a dog? Yeah, he's played hurt, but I just don't know if he's consistent enough. He's like, Brett Favre had a little bit of a swagger, a little bit of ass to him to back up his gunslinger mentality. Shedeur is just reckless. He just sometimes is reckless with the ball. And
you don't want that
at times because they're playing from behind.
I'll tell you what, fellas, I've been looking at the Cleveland Browns Facebook and their actual website that the team runs. And they've been doing a lot of things about the quarterbacks and which quarterback is the pro days and all that kind of stuff. I feel like they're going to take a quarterback at number 2 anyway, or three, whatever they are.
They could take Sanders. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to try and hide it as much as possible. They're going to try and go the best player available, get a defensive guy or whatever it may be. But they keep putting pictures up of Sanders and other guys there where they're probably just going to take him. They got old man Joe Flacco as a veteran, Kenny Pickett as like 2 or 3. They'll go and get the quarterback, Sanders, and there'll be one big, clusterfuck of who's a quarterback and all that kind of stuff. But Somber says here, they're friends. He said, don't take the banner too seriously. They have the same video producer together in terms of Cam Ward and Sanders. But I feel like the Browns could be in the running to take Sanders at number 2 or 3 or whatever the draft pick. Do you think that could be a scenario there, Bubba?
That, and then the Saints need a quarterback because Carr is out for the season. So
yeah, that's wild, eh?
I mean, I don't think they're going to have a rookie start, but they're going to have to do something. That's probably where the guy who was supposed to sign last Wednesday might go. Who knows? Or Kirk Cousins, and who cares? But they need a quarterback. The Browns need a quarterback. I don't think we need a quarterback right now. We need a second string. We need 3 good quality quarterbacks if they have to take the ball. That in case something happens to Mason Rudolph, we have a second stringer that has experience enough to try to get us a victory. And I don't know where that would be, and as a second stringer, as a backup.
Someone says here the best scenario for the Steelers would be that Shedeur fell to 21, get the phone and see who wants him. Could that be a case, Shane, where the Steelers could choose him or they could trade him back?
I think Shedeur is going to be either taken by the Giants or St. Louis, or excuse me, the Saints. Is Jackson Dart going to go before Shedeur? I don't know. I would take Jackson Dart. Some mock drafts have Jackson Dart going after Shedeur Sanders, but New Orleans has the number 9 pick, and I think the Giants have the 3rd pick. The Browns have the 2nd pick. The Browns are not going to take Shedeur Sanders over Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is going to go at number 2. He's a dual threat. He can play cornerback. He can play receiver. I don't know exactly what their plan is with
the Browns always do stupid things. That's why I bring it up. They always do stupid things. They don't need a quarterback. They got Flacco. Fair point.
Well, the Giants, if that happens, the Giants would take Hunter. Hunter won't be out. He'll be gone in before the 5th round. 4th round.
Travis Hunter's going to be gone. He's definitely Travis Hunter is absolutely a top 3-4 pick. Absolutely. You can't go wrong taking Travis Hunter. Okay. He's a generational talent. He's just a hell of an athlete, a good kid, nice guy. I haven't heard too many bad things about the kid. I mean, he's just like, remember Juju when we had him on the team? Like, they're teaching how to drive. Travis Hunter reminds me of that kind of guy,
Oh, okay. So, he didn't have experiences in college that
he's had the same girlfriend. He just married her. He just seems like he likes to play video games. He's just it seems like he's like a grown-up 12-year-old. You know what I mean?
So which side does he play then? Does he play cornerback or play receiver?
He's played both.
But in the NFL though, what's he do?
He like for
play both.
Buffaloes. He played with Shedeur Sanders, and with Shedeur, he played the number one position as receiver, and then he also played the cornerback position.
Do you think he'll play receiver in the NFL?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which one though? Like, do the Browns stupid and they'll play him for 85 snaps a game?
They might put him in at cornerback here and there and then line him up at receiver. I have no idea what their plans are. It's kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with him. Like,
you're playing him if you draft him. You're playing him on both sides when you have him.
Well, here's the thing. How effective can you be in the NFL running dog shit out of somebody? I mean,
well, you don't play him every series, but if it's a series that, on a defense where you need him, you could put him in there if he could cover somebody.
I see them playing him at cornerback, and then like if they need some spark or a big play or something, put him in there as at the X or the Y. It doesn't matter. Put him in there and just make us a couple of big splash plays. But Cleveland can F up a wet dream in a 12-year-old short, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I feel like they could actually go the quarterback at the number 2 pick, but they need to build the team and they've got Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is probably going to be their starter unless Kenny Pickett rises from somewhere else.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a good question. Which position is harder to find? Do you mean in terms of like cornerback or receiver in the draft?
This year, I would say there's less cornerbacks than there are receivers. But we'll have to ask our boy tomorrow that he's the draft guru.
I think in my opinion, I think there's more receivers than there is secondary. Because I looked at some stuff, but I'm not really good in the draft stuff either.
Yeah, here's the reason that I think you're right, because a lot of cornerbacks, and I saw this when I was staying at the the Hilton Garden in Morgantown. West Virginia puts their players, the guys that they're trying to bring in through the transfer portal, they put them up in that hotel. And I saw a transfer. He was highly coveted at cornerback. The kid was 5'7", 5'8", and maybe $160. Okay. You can get away with maybe in a power four school in college football with an undersized cornerback, kind of. If he's is fast and can cover and jump, has some athleticism, you can't do that in the NFL.
Right.
You have to have that size and the speed and the athleticism, and that it goes along the lines of the offensive tackle. You can have an offensive guard that's 6'2", but your offensive tackle has to be 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". It has to be a monster. And that just makes it a little harder to find. That's my take. Take it for what, my opinion.
Well, that was a good take, though. That's all I take.
All right, fellas. So I want to do a bit of a game here because it has been a lot of Sanders talk.
We're gonna play Plinko. Let's play Plinko.
Nah, nothing like that. Can't win like millions of dollars. I want to go through the draft, right? I just want to see, because we have been rumored, and there's been rumors there of Mike Tomlin liking Shedeur Sanders, and it could be a possibility they draft him at 21. But before we even get there, let's play a game. Let's see how far, as it covers me up and half a Shane up. But let's find out where you guys think he would fall or get drafted by before 21. So, do we think that the Tennessee Titans would pick up Sanders? Yes or no?
No.
No, they're going with Cam Ward, right? The Browns, we just talked about getting Hunter, so that's a possibility there. Giants, could the Giants go and pick up Sanders?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one team as well. Would the New England Patriots pick up Sanders as a quarterback?
No.
Okay, and then Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Right, so they're not going to pick him up. Would the Raiders pick up Sanders for quarterback? I don't even know who their quarterback is at the moment.
If the Raiders didn't have a running back issue problem.
Who do they have? Figure that out.
Oh.
You are right. The running back thing. They
didn't the Raiders just get Geno Smith?
Yes.
Oh, they did too. Yeah. Okay,
well, they won't need one. Okay, they're good.
Okay, so they're good. And you're right, Bubba. I think the Raiders will probably go and get the running back sorted there too. Jets has Justin Fields is a Jet. They probably wouldn't put all that money in the Jets and pick up Sanders unless that high, right? So right now, New York Giants could do it because Wilson is the veteran quarterback. You maybe sit him a year behind Wilson. To me, that'd be a smart idea. If you get him really high, you don't need to play him, but the fan base will want to play him. But you play Wilson for a year, then you sit him behind. Anyways, possibility there could be New York Giants. The Panthers have who's their bloke over there?
Bryce Young.
And he came back really well last year. They put the Panthers back on the board and started winning games. So he played well. So they won't get him.
They don't need him.
Then you have the Saints. Here's the big thing. Like you guys said, Saints now, Derek Carr has apparently got a shoulder injury, and he's out. So is that not Sanders material?
They have Spencer Rattler, who played at Oklahoma and then played at South Carolina. He is, I would say Sanders would be an upgrade. But see, New Orleans could take Jackson Dart. You know,
they're going to take a quarterback though, one or the other.
Yeah,
it looks like it now.
I think they take Jackson Dart for sure. But I don't know. They could take Sanders if he's available.
So Sanders could fall there, right? Though Sanders could fall at 9 because Saints have the drama now. Derek Carr that came out a few days ago, where Derek Carr has a bad shoulder, could miss the whole season. So there's now 2 teams before the Steelers even have a chance, and don't even think about trading up to shit because we haven't got the picks. Now the Bears have Caleb. Who's the bloke? Was he Williams? Yeah. So they need the quarterback. They're fine. San Fran's trying to figure it out with Brock Purdy. That I don't think that would they. Okay, would they take Sanders?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So they've got Purdy, right?
I know Purdy's got that big contract, but I think they would just keep with him. I think they have other issues.
Brock Purdy, they don't want to pay him what he's asking. There's some dispute right now with this contract.
That's what I thought.
Okay, well then, if they don't want to pay him,
I think the 49ers are trapped. I was talking to a bloke who's a 49er fan at work the other day. He was wearing a hat, and I started talking football with him, and we both agreed the 49ers are in a bit of a weird thing. Do they go the next 4 or 5 years with Purdy, or do they start again? Because that's what they kind of are.
Yep.
So possibility, but they might just build through the draft again. Now Cowboys. Ooh, Cowboys.
Good.
What's going to happen with Dak?
You know what though, because Jerry Jones probably likes to have that flash of Sanders and wants his kid. That could happen. I don't know.
That's a Cowboy move in a heartbeat, isn't it?
Cowboys move in a heartbeat.
The dad comes over, the flashy quarterback. It's crazy.
Because he played it with the Cowboys also, won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys.
Yeah. You know Dion is pushing that. That's where he wants him to go. There's certain teams where Primetime wants his kid to play. And Dallas. You should probably go through the list too and say, is that a Deion Sanders approved place?
Yeah, true. So Cowboys could definitely be up there because Dak Prescott don't know his future with the team. Obviously, he's been QB on for a while, but the connection with the Sanders father there too. Now Dolphins, another team that like the quarterback with Tua, his injury history. Would they if he's meant to be a high caliber quarterback, could he get picked up by the Dolphins? So already we have like 4 or 5 teams before the Steelers even have a chance.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's going to be if the Dolphins could be at their Colts. They've got Anthony Richardson. I still think he's there. The Falcons has Kirk. Is Kirk Cousins even? Is he still a Falcon?
No, he's still a Falcon, but he's second string, and they probably might use him for trade bait.
Who's their first stringer? I don't know.
Michael Penix. Is it Penix Jr.? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Michael Penix.
Okay, so the Falcons don't need another quarterback.
No.
Cardinals have, I guess, Kyler Murray, but I guess they need to figure out his future for the Cardinals. So even some of these teams could do it. But
Cincinnati needs a quarterback.
You don't like Joe Burrow? I meant they would never do that. They wouldn't get rid of Joe Burrow.
That's a $250 million offense right there.
But even so, with like, okay, they're not the best quarterback situation with the Dolphins or the Falcons or the Cardinals, but maybe in that sense, it's probably too high to Sanders to fall that far. These teams aren't as QB needy as we, as they think, right? Seahawks, they just got another bloke back too. Bengals don't need him. So who the Seahawks get? Seahawks got someone else too. I can't remember.
Hey, Seahawks got Sam Darnold.
That's right. Yeah. Sam Darnold. Buccaneers don't need a quarterback. It's Baker Mayfield. And then number 20 is Bo Nix. And of course, 21, the Steelers don't have a quarterback or QB1. They have Mason Rudolph. So already we have New York Giants, Cowboys, maybe Dolphins, Saints. 4 teams in the mix before our Steelers have a chance or even have a thought process to get Sanders. So I thought that was a good way to just to break it down. And then but after that, the Chargers have their quarterback. Green Bay's got theirs. Vikings.
Still, they're indecisive. The Vikings. They don't know.
Well, they got JJ McCarthy, right?
But they're still indecisive because Aaron Rodgers is still whatever his stupid way of doing stuff. Like the Vikings quarterback situation is not set in stone.
So they got JJ McCarthy. The Texans have Stroud. LA's got old man Stafford. Ravens have Jackson, Goff, Daniels, and all these top. Look, here's a good point too. All the top 4 picks are the franchise quarterbacks for the future, or playing right now. Goff, Daniels, Josh Allen, Mahomes, and of course Jalen Hurts. So that's just definitely, in terms of quarterbacks, the Steelers haven't got one, but it doesn't mean that Sanders, because Mike Tomlin likes Sanders, it doesn't mean he's going to fall that far after the Saints or someone that doesn't get him,
Well, he liked that Malik Willis guy, took him out for wings, and look where he's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomlin has a lot of connection with a lot of people, I think.
It's probably a lot of head games and a lot of throwing stuff out there because you don't want to let anybody know who you really truly want. Maybe I don't know. It's probably a game.
Well, that's what it feels like now with the whole A-Rod thing and the quarterback thing. Maybe the Steelers are just going to go the best player available. Shana, who do you think the Steelers get, or what pick do they get at number 1?
If they're going quarterback, they could, there's really nobody that I can see them going for in the first round. If anything, I think they're going to go running back. They're going to either go for, let me think, the kid from Texas, I think his name's Blue. That's
your first round pick as a running back.
Yeah, Jaden Blue, I think the kid's name is. I know he was fast as lightning, and then the other guy that was maybe a little bit faster was the Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech. Low 4.3 guys, really good pro days, breakaway speed, thick, rugged runners. In fact, I think Blue had he didn't like his combine score, so he had another pro day at the University of Texas, and he ran like a 4.25, 4.28. So he is lightning fast. If the Steelers get him, watch out. I mean, he is,
this is going to boggle me. I mean, we got a little over a week because I feel that if they don't draft a nose tackle and they draft a running back, and if they trade Pickens for a second round pick, that's where you get your running back or your quarterback or whatever. You're getting an offensive player, but I just don't know. And they need defensive linemen because poor Cam Hayward can't do everything, and him and Keanu Benton. I mean, that's it. That's all they truly got. And still 300 yards, 299 yards getting rushed on, and you're not soaring up that defensive line. Something is wrong. And there's been a lot of wrong stuff lately. And I know I listened to Mark Madden today, and I probably shouldn't have. But I mean, he was.
Is he mad? Is he Madden?
Well, we got off the TJ Watt stuff, but he said, TJ Watt takes himself out of games. You can't compare TJ Watt to Mean Joe Green because TJ takes himself out of games. And realistically,
it's a whole different fucking era. Though.
I know.
This is what I understand. Fucking Mark Madden. He's
I know. And he said, what he said? He said it's quarterback sacks are not really. He'd rather have a quarterback sack on a third down than a first and second down because the quarterbacks now could get the first down. I mean, if you'd heard him, I'm like,
Madden. I don't listen to Madden. I don't listen to Madden or the other bloke there. Who's the other guy? Madden just plays the game. He plays a troll. I've lost last 5 years in last 10 years, maybe people more than me. They don't take him seriously anymore.
And they had a lot of people from Pittsburgh calling in, saying about the trade. There was not.
Oh, let's talk about it then. You fellas go first, and I'll fucking finish it.
I mean, I listened for a little bit.
So dumb.
And you had a lot of Steeler fans talking about. I think how old is TJ? Is he 30 or 31?
30.
Okay, 30. Comparing with Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett is, I believe, a year younger, is what they were saying. But they brought up his stats. So you're gonna. I think he's looking for 40 million, correct? 40 million, but also too.
Well, there are reports have been. There's actually been no talk from TJ Watt or his agent or anything like that. It's just been ideas that the Steelers. There's been speculation about TJ would want more than Myles Garrett. He probably does want more than Myles Garrett and probably deserves more than Myles Garrett. Then it goes back to the Steelers have failed because they didn't get the contract done last year, which I kind of agree with. Maybe should have got done before, made the money cheaper. But this whole thing about TJ Watt putting the deuces up saying, trade me, see you later, it's just false. It's one picture he put up. We keep talking about it. Rumors keep happening. Then you say, this guy said this guy said that.
Yeah, but when did his brothers start falling apart? When did JJ start getting hurt? And is it like early 30s?
34. But he also won 3 Defensive Player of the Years. He was on a new team, a new franchise, the Houston Texans. He was their best player, on the team. I guess TJ Watt could be the best player on our team as well.
I know, but
I think it'd be silly for them to trade him. I think it's all hogwash. And if people are now trying to put, you think you don't know, you'd rather
I think that there is. I believe he's not happy. I believe he's not happy because of this Aaron Rodgers debacle of throwing all that money to him, paying DK Metcalf $150 million and not taking care of him. That could be something. And I don't know because
I don't know how you can come to the point though. He
shouldn't even be doing all this anyway because he still has 1 year left on his contract. So he shouldn't try to play the game of trying to get a bigger contract.
I think he is playing the game. I think he put up one fucking picture and everyone's talking about it. I think it's legit put up one picture. That's what
he's got to produce. But also too, he didn't produce the last 5 games though. I don't know if he was hurt or whatever, man. But he didn't. I mean, statistically wise. If he's going to do something, he got to quit taking himself out.
I reckon if you were to trade him away, it'd be a failure. I think the Steelers would fail.
They're failing right now.
But I think it'd be a bigger failure if they get rid of TJ Watt and they get back 2 draft picks, which is meant to save the Steelers organization. I don't think you do that. I think he's been not only a great ambassador for the city's sport and overall team, and been one of the best players that he could ever be for the Steelers. If they were to trade him away and get the 2 firsts and a second, I just think that there's no guarantee you're going to fill his role, to be honest, with Nick Herbig stepping up and Highsmith stepping up. And then also, no guarantee that those 2 first round draft picks are going to be top notch.
But how much is he worth, though?
Oh, he's worth whatever the market is saying. If Myles Garrett can get that, then you send him the money, you pay him.
If you're looking just at numbers, take the Steelers hat off and the fandom out of the equation. And you're looking at it from a business aspect.
I'm looking at it as a business aspect. You're not paying him.
I'm gonna go this.
And I'm a diehard Steeler fan. I am.
He is. The Steelers have underpaid him for years.
Right.
He's he's a freaking discount. They're getting him at a discount. Either play him this year and then just let him go. Don't renew his contract, which is not going to happen. They'll renew his contract. They should have signed him last year. Just like Mark said, but the smart move, and you guys are going to hate me, fans, you're going to hate me too, would be if you're going to trade him,
you trade him
now.
This
is the time to trade him.
Right.
Trade him for a high first round pick.
You're not getting a first. You're only going to get a second round pick.
I disagree completely. So you're both saying trade TJ if you were to do it now, all right? I disagree completely.
Now's the time.
I think the Steelers. It might be the time now to do it. Doesn't mean that you do it though. Just because your best player on the team is trade worthy to get back two. What do we think? 2 first rounds, 3 first rounds. What are we thinking?
If you get 3 for him, you trade him.
Yeah.
But what's the actual thing they're thinking? Is I've heard 2 and I've heard 2 first rounds and a second or something like that.
It has to be
I still wouldn't do it.
It has to be like top 5, top 3 first round for me to even consider.
Because you know why? I'm really this one makes me a bit passionate about it. I think the fucking moment you trade away TJ and we lose a game, the Yinzer fan base is going to be absolutely mad as fucking shit. And the ones who wanted him traded away, they're going to complain about him wanting him back and saying, we haven't got an outside linebacker. So you don't trade away TJ Watt, who's your best player in the game, who's 108 sacks. Yes, we haven't got the playoff victories in the last 10 years or whatever it may be, but that's also a team thing. It's a scheme thing. Last year, the TJ Watt was tackling the running back and not going for the fucking quarterback like he used to do. Well, they had the Ravens set up for years and years. Take on Lamar first and get him done. What they did was the outside linebackers went to the running back and it all fucking fell apart. So to me, I don't think you trade away your best player just for a chance to get 2 picks back to restart. If anything, they can use those picks next year to move up and get a quarterback, still keep TJ. You have the best receiver on the roster. Give him the money he deserves. Give him 3 or 4 years, and then you play him like a Cam Hayward role in the next 4 years after that. I think it would be absolutely fucking stupid to trade TJ.
So you're saying 9 years? He's going to be at the Steelers 9 years.
I think he finishes. I think he's the player that he is.
I don't know now. I really don't, because if I don't have the stats of his last 5 games, including the playoffs, but he was non-existent. So
I think it's more. I think it's more than stats, though. It's a Cam Hayward situation.
You got to. I understand, and it sucks. Believe me, I don't like anybody leaving the Steelers. Believe me.
Me either. I'm a huge.
But also too, Rod Woodson left the Steelers and got a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, and I didn't want to see him leave. Rod Woodson was one of the greatest players probably in the 80s, and he was the TJ Watt in the 80s. Now, I know I'm old school, but I just don't know. I just – his talents have been wasted. The regular seasons – I mean, the last 5 games.
I don't think they've been wasted.
That playoff game was ridiculous. I mean,
I don't think they've been wasted. I think TJ Watt has been giving this team the best chance to win, as by his stats do tell him. When he's in the game, they win more games than they don't when he's out of the game. I don't like that idea about it being wasted, because the idea of when it says wasted, it's like, oh, we had Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Big Ben, all these guys, Le'Veon Bell, and we didn't win the big one. Oh, they were wasted. They were still putting up high numbers and a great offense, right? You could maybe say the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl.
That is the ultimate. But if you're not in it for the ultimate
goal, then it's not wasted, though. TJ Watt's been an outstanding Steeler, and he's been playing the best that he can be at the highest at his top tier, and he got robbed of Defensive Player of the Years. I don't think you'd say, well, because we haven't used him correctly or he hasn't won playoff games, now wasted time to trade him away. I think that'd actually be a failure on the organization going backwards. Because, Bubba, do you think if they trade TJ Watt away, are they better or are they worse if they trade him away?
They can't be any worse. I don't know how they get better.
If they're even right now, right?
That's the hard. That's
the hard part. But I'm going off the last 5 games of the season when TJ was there, but he wasn't doing nothing. And I was trying to look it up on his stats on the last 5 games, not including the playoffs. Like he didn't. Like I don't know. I mean, you got to have. I mean, we don't even have a franchise quarterback, and we haven't had a franchise quarterback for many, many years. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, if in this scenario, if you were to be even, you trade TJ Watt, are you better or are you worse, based on the picks you get back?
Because we're so weak, we're anemic on offense. The offense is horrible. You don't have the quarterback play is okay. So it's apples and oranges. If you lose, your defense is gonna get a lot weaker without TJ. Absolutely, 100%. But right now, you can't score over 18 points a game. So it doesn't matter if your defense is.
But also, too, this is a high-priced defense, and you can't stop anybody.
So there you go. So can you get, for the value, now think about it like this, that $40 or $50 million, can you get 2 or 3 players to shore up other spots on the defense? Maybe the linebacker core, maybe a really good cornerback, maybe an edge rusher, just to kind of get to 80%. And then use that draft pick,
this is a crazy topic. Like,
we're talking about our best player. It's the best player on the team right now, TJ Watt.
You're going to get stronger in other places, hopefully, for the long term, because, I don't think TJ is going to get any better, but he's at the pinnacle. He's fantastic. But you're going to get maybe some future stars. You might get someone like a Ryan Shazier. Ryan Shazier was really good until he got hurt.
100%. I think it's a big risk though. It's a risk to take. Of course, it's risk also signing him for a big contract and he gets injured and that kind of stuff too. Jamie says here, we'll be worse with TJ Watt once he leaves, so stay the F here in terms of being a Steeler. I just think the drama around TJ Watt putting up a picture, and then many podcasters like us and media says, how does TJ Watt feel? We don't know how he feels. He put up one picture. Then we start thinking about, well, TJ Watt said this, TJ Watt said that. He didn't say anything. He put up one picture. And then Bubba said TJ Watt was, maybe pissed off about Rodgers' situation. We don't know any of that stuff is true or not. If they were to trade,
as I look right now, TJ Watt had 6 seasons over 7 sacks. So his first year he had 7. 2018 to 2021, he had double sacks. Now he had the 21 year where he got Defensive Player of the Year, but then the year the 2022, I think is that when he tore his arm because he had to because he only had 5.5. He had 19 and 11. So there's only been 2 seasons, his first season and his injured season, where he only had single sack combination. But I was trying to look for like the last 5 game stats. You know what I mean?
The last 5 games doesn't mean that he's going to play bad week 1 against Kenny Pickett and the Browns. Like, these are only the last 5 game stats in a whole career of spending 7 to 8 years. And the Steelers now, of course, have to make a decision. And because he has 1 year left in his contract, we're on this topic about trading TJ Watt. My ultimate point and I guess the discussion is, if you trade him away, do you get better? And I don't think you do. I think you get worse. If you trade him
away, you're going to get better. You'll get a better draft picks. You should.
Yeah, but it depends how you were to use him, and also like what Jamie says here too. There's no quarterback worth drafting in thoughts of losing TJ Watt. You know, I think he's going to be a Steelers through and through. I feel like in this scenario, when we see TJ Watt do the peace sign and it comes towards their last year with their contract, we get all these crazy rumors in our head, and we forget that TJ Watt is a Steeler, and the Steelers are going to back him probably throughout the whole thing. I would be 100,000% shocked if they trade him away to get 2 more picks in the draft. I just think that overall, if you're a baseline now, if they trade him, I think we get worse. I think that the defense gets worse than what it is. I think the defense needs to improve, and one of our special talents is outside linebacker TJ Watt, because he brings that firepower. He brings that overall leadership to the game and training others like Herbig and Highsmith. And if you miss him out of this rotation in the defense, I think you're losing a lot more games than you're winning. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I think it's silly.
Hopefully we have a discussion 3 years from now and see what kind of where he's at after 3 years. If he does sign a deal with the Steelers, and see, hopefully something happens good in 3 years from now.
He's fun to watch.
If it doesn't, then he was the Steeler that never.
But it's not just on TJ Watt to win playoff games, and it's like the Mike Tomlin debate.
Well, I mean, sometimes a player has to be dominated, and if a dominating player back in the day, I don't know. It's just, I'm old school. If a dominating player was so dominant, you know, they could change. He could be a game changer. So if he's a game changer, then
TJ Watt is a game changer, though. But it's not to me. If maybe the argument you're saying is, well, TJ Watt is the sole reason we're not winning playoff games because he goes, non-existent. But there's many factors to it that the teams that we play were pretty tough in terms of Buffalo and KC that 1 year. The teams that we played in with the Browns and Big Ben threw the football away. They didn't fall in the football. He threw interceptions. So it's not just on TJ Watt. Maybe TJ Watt's the best player on a fucking poor team. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think it is. It's not just on him because we're not winning. We're not winning with TJ Watt and these stats in the last 5 games go missing. Maybe he's the best player on the team. And if you were to get rid of TJ Watt, that to me would be a failure, and the team would actually regress and go backwards.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think they're going to trade him, but I have no idea what's going on. You got a high-powered defense between him with you paid Cam, you paid Highsmith, and Minkah. You have 4 players that have a lot of money. And no offense, they don't have championships. And I know, I mean, that's what you have to base this. Look, I'm getting fed up with we're not winning playoff games anyway. It's getting ridiculous.
Everyone is. It's not. I know. Everyone's getting fed up. It's old news at the moment. You know, we all. Someone says in the comments on Facebook, we haven't won a playoff game in 7 years. Well, if I can know that, I'm a fan too. You know, everyone is. Shane, let's get your viewpoint. What do you think about the situation? Do the Steelers trade TJ Watt? Is there a chance? Is there any point to it?
I don't think they're going to trade him, but I'm just saying if you're looking at it from a GM, from an owner, you have to consider that. You know, you can have to consider the value.
I agree with that point. His highest point now is TJ Watt's at 30 is better than 34 TJ Watt. I agree.
Right now, like right now is the time. If you're going to pop that, you're going to pop it. Now's the time to pull it and go. But no, if that parachute is there, but it's only going to be there for the summer because in the middle of the season they're not going to trade him. But it's for crying out loud.
Joey says here, would you rather TJ Watt say he wants to leave and win championships, or have him post a game day photo with no caption at all? That he's pointing out the obvious, which is the Browns, the Browns Myles Garrett saying, "I want to leave. Here's my big thing. I want to walk away." And we're having probably the exact same reaction to it.
Well, Garrett did it diabolical. He had the Cleveland Browns in his, and he got what he wanted. He's in it for the money. I don't think TJ wants to win a championship. I just think that it's just getting look, this is discouraging as it is, because Rooney Jr. is messing his team up and not doing stuff where he needs to be anyway, because look at all this quarterback drama. We're going into the season without a number one quarterback, even though all three of us want Mason, and we don't want to spend $50 million. Could you see him spending $45 million if they sign Aaron Rodgers and try to sign TJ? There's no way they could do both.
I agree with that. I think the Rooney situation since the other bloke Rooney, Dan Rooney, passed away.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Right. 7 years we haven't done anything. He's more just maybe middleman management and look maybe softer on the players. I don't know. There's something off about Art Rooney a second. There's something off. It's not the same as Dan Rooney and the overall qualities he had. Didn't know him as a bloke, knew him through the lens of my TV screen.
Right.
But I agree with you. Something's definitely off. But Darkstorm says here, trading TJ sounds like something made up, created story, which it has. The story has been created 4 or 5 days ago. Pure speculation. But I think it's just, I don't think the Steelers would do it. And I think overall they would be worse off without him. And I think maybe sometimes.
I mean, because we're talking speculation. Okay, so if they don't do the Watt thing, but we all pretty much, everybody in the chat and everybody listening, probably going to trade George Pickens, probably. I don't think that should be the case, because you want firepower to get offense to score, like Shane said, more than 18 points.
Yeah, Pickens, but DK Metcalf is decent enough to fill those shoes.
But both shoes?
Yeah, but I mean, is he going to want to be the number 2, Pickens? He's number 1.
I think it's changed. A few weeks ago, I brought this point up about the chance Steelers could trade away George Pickens. There could be an idea because his contract here and there. But we've heard less news around that. There's been no speculation, no rumor, no talk, no I actually think the Steelers might be going ahead with George Pickens on either side, because if they run with Rudolph at quarterback number 1 or 2, whatever happens, or they go into the draft, they'll need 2 big receivers on the outside to get this thing moving. But there's one more point I want to make about this TJ Watt thing, and in terms of saying he's the best player on our team and maybe everyone else is bad. Sometimes as Steelers fans, we put our black and gold goggles on and we go, man, this guy's friggin' awesome. But maybe he's not. Maybe it's the same thing with our team, right? We love our team. We love all the players. We love all the different people, that kind of stuff. And we're going to go Super Bowl, right? Maybe dead set, TJ Watt could be the best player on the team. And if you were to get rid of that, we do become a 5-win team or a 6-win team. And you haven't got the pressure. Yes, he wasn't always there for the stats. Yes, he wasn't always there for the last 5 games. But still, TJ Watt's average season is a really good season, getting 14 sacks, getting interceptions, getting fumbles, getting tackles, He's
only had 2.
He's fucking unbelievable.
He's only had 2 seasons where he had single sacks. Everything else is double sacks.
We don't know what world we're living in. We're living in a world where we're talking about TJ Watt, who is a superhuman. I mean, he is like he's like up there with Troy Polamalu. Okay. Like that.
100%.
Witnessing
now. But with that, I got to head out. Guys, thanks for everything.
No worries. Thanks, Shane, mate.
Hey, see you, Shane. I think he's got to go play taxi.
Jamie says this talks makes me want to spar.
I don't want to spar. I'm just I mean, it's just talk. I mean, if we have a GM hat on or we have a fan hat on. If we have a fan hat on, we want the best possible Steelers to get us to the victories. But this stuff with this no quarterback stuff, and if they don't draft a nose tackle, then I don't know what they're gonna. Their defensive line is just.
It's funny. It's funny what Shane said. Like, this could be the best possible chance to trade away TJ Watt because he's 30 and he's a really good player. All this, and this, right? I then flip it around. It's the best time to keep fucking TJ Watt because he's the best player and he's this, and this. That's why you keep him. That's why you give him a contract. That's why the Browns didn't want Myles Garrett to walk away to be go win championships. They gave him bigger money. I think TJ Watt will stay because as his point of his career, he's the best player on the team. And right now
I don't disagree with you. I do not.
We haven't got the quarterback in our roster right now. So if you don't have a TJ Watt, and like I think someone said in the chat, Steelers took care of Cam because he's a one-hat guy. He will be a one-hat guy for the next 1 or 2 years. TJ Watt will probably be a one-hat guy as well.
Well, sometimes they didn't take care of Rod Woodson and they didn't take care of Franco. That was two. And Franco, no offense to anybody in the chat or whatever, Franco, you can't bash Franco. I mean, he won 4 Super Bowls. And he walked to Seattle.
Yeah. And
that was terrible. And to seeing him in a Seattle jersey being a kid was just pathetic in my eyes. I don't want to see anybody leaving the Steelers. I'm just saying.
Sometimes there is business to be had. 100%. There's business with all kinds of things. But Afton says here, if they want to tank, they should trade him. I just feel like the Steelers aren't like we look around all the players, and I think he's the best player.
I can't see him tanking if they spent $150 million on a receiver, but we still only have we have Mason Rudolph as our quarterback. Like that to me, and that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. My money's all in because there's nobody else. It's Mason Rudolph or bust. That's how it has to be. But they messed up. They messed up in the offseason not doing something with, I don't know if it was Justin Fields. More likely, they should have gave him a little bit more money, and they didn't. And this is the predicament.
They've been messing up since the Big Ben played 2 more years than he should have. They've been messing up with quarterbacks since they.
Do you think they're messing up when they made that draft for Minka and didn't get that number 1 pick, and then we could have had a quarterback?
No, I think Minka's been really good for our defense.
Okay,
so I think Minka can turn things around. I don't think that's that. I wouldn't say that's a mistake. I think that's like either a push.
Ben was the reason too. That not getting a quarterback because you didn't want to deal with Ben cost us what we're in to do now.
I think Big Ben's part of the reason. Okay, he's not saying that he's like saying that I don't want a quarterback underneath me or what. I think he's part of the reason. But also the Steelers.
I love Big Ben. But he
100%. But it's like he's definitely part of the reason. I just feel like the Steelers haven't had that. They haven't figured out the quarterback situation in 7 years, and maybe sometimes it really is hard to find a franchise quarterback. But going back to the TJ Watt thing, I think that if they were to honest to goodness, if they were to trade him away, I think the fan base would lose their minds.
Lose their minds, and if it's going to be, it would be the time where he's in his prime that you're going to get something. You don't trade. You sign TJ Watt. You don't trade TJ Watt 3 years from now because then you're getting a 4th round or 5th round pick. You got to get him in his if Omar Khan did whatever, which I look, people, I don't want people killing me. I'm just saying this would be the time that you would, if it was on the table,
this to me,
because he's healthy and he's the player that he is at 30 or 31, you don't get rid of him 32 and try to trade him, or 34 and try to trade him. You're not going to get much out of that. That's all.
Yeah, this to me, if they were to trade, the Steelers were to trade TJ Watt, this would be like a Saints move. It would be a Arizona Cardinal move. It'd be a
like
New
a Ricky Williams move. Get 12 picks for TJ Watt.
It'd just be stupid. It'd be what the Browns, almost lost their Myles Garrett until they paid him. I don't know. It wouldn't make sense as a Pittsburgh Steelers organization. A guy who on record last year said he wants to be here, he wants to figure things out. And the minute he puts up a picture with 2 deuces, maybe he'll like that photo. Maybe it was a bit of pressure on the agents, but I feel like the Steelers are gonna get it done.
I personally think it was all this Aaron Rodgers quarterback drama because we probably don't see it and he probably hears it. And he was like, hey, look, don't pay that Jamoki. Let's get the money into my camp instead of Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like they're going to pay $45 million for Aaron. They need to pay. They can pay me and screw Aaron Rodgers.
They always seem to figure the money. I'm not even too worried about the money. They always seem to figure the money out. The cap's going up. There's different avenues where Omar Khan can work his magic. I think as a just on a football team sense, going into 2025, if you don't have TJ Watt on the roster, I think it's a failure, and I think you will be losing more games than winning because he's ultimately the pass wrecking machine. He's unbelievable. He tackles for a loss in the running backs and all these things. And I know we have a lot of problems in terms of quarterback, and there's running back could be Warren. There's no
we need a TJ Watt, Metcalf and TJ Watt could be the 2 best players on the team. TJ does his stuff, but we don't know how Metcalf is going to be because if we didn't sign DJ Metcalf and did this trade or whatever this year, this offseason would have been a total big giant F. I mean,
because they wouldn't probably have spent their money, definitely.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have had anybody. They wouldn't have got anybody like the guy from the Eagles, the Kenny G guy is still not, bucking the system to get a high offseason acquisitions if we didn't get Metcalf.
All right, to end this topic, let's just ask the audience here of 17 people. Do you think it would be a smart decision to trade away TJ Watt? I personally don't think so. Bubba says maybe.
Well, if I took my hat off and it was a GM, because TJ Watt is a phenom right now, I wouldn't want to trade him 2 years from now. It's like getting a vehicle. You want you're trading in. You want the vehicle when it's newer to try to get more money, I guess. I don't want people killing me, but they're already saying no, and I already know that. I'm like, look, I'm just thinking as a general manager type, not as a Steeler fan, but also too, I just think that hopefully he has a bounce back season. He gets to 25 sacks, breaks a record, gets a playoff win. That to me is
even though as a GM, would you not want your best player on the team to still be under your organization as a GM?
But as a GM, and you're trying to make moves and you're doing whatever in the prime time, look, people are gonna come on, just don't kill me, people. As a GM, you want to get your best option that you have. And if TJ's like, look, I'm going to play, and it's going to cost you $50 million, and I want $145 million for the next 4 years. That my math's off, but what do you do? Like Myles Garrett held the Cleveland Browns hostage, and they bought it. You know what I mean? He didn't care where he played as long as, and he doesn't care. They bought it and they signed it, whatever. And it's just a competitive, and TJ Watt is better than Myles Garrett. Yes. Better in and off the field. I totally agree. But if I was a GM, and right now would be the only time, but if you had no trade, you couldn't do it. But you're not. This is the best way, best shape to get him, because you're not going to trade him 3 years from now, because you're not going to get anything for him. And you could be in the same boat we are 3 years from now, like we are now, just barely making it into the playoffs another 3 years. I mean, and then that's his whole career of never. And that's sad. And that's so sad. Like,
and it happens with some really great players that never sniff a playoff game.
Look at Reggie White. Reggie had to get out of Philly. I mean, in Philadelphia, they had a lot of great defense, a lot of good teams. They just couldn't get over the hump, and then they
never sniff the success of a playoff win, or they see a Super Bowl, and they're one of the best players to play the game. And TJ Watt's one of the best players to play the game, hands down.
Yeah, I agree.
And also totally at his position too.
That's why I'm not going to ever be a general manager, because I'd pooch the punt and I'd fuck everything up anyway. So that's why I'm just a fan. And I've always felt bad of Franco, and I felt bad when I saw Rod Woodson winning a Super Bowl and it wasn't with the Steelers. Like
but that's also that's why I say it's not as fucking easy as every fan wanting to win a Super Bowl every year, because
this conversation was not easy on this show the first time in many years. It wasn't easy. Like it was a different. I took a different avenue, and I tell you what,
it's fine. It's 100% fine. It's been fun. It doesn't matter. Hey, wait.
I'm dodging. I see the comments, but
it's fine. But that's why I'm saying, to me, this stresses me on how fucking important it is, how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, and they all give Mike Tomlin a lot of shit. But there's only 32 teams can win it every year, right? Only one team out of that. 12 have never won. 4 have never been. And here we are saying it's hard for players to fucking win, let alone a team to fucking win a Super Bowl. So you'll see great players on many teams around the NFL for 32 have great careers, do this, do that, right? And they still won't win a championship. But it happens all the time.
Every time. But see, I think of the underdogs, and I think I know no one's mad. I'm just trying to I'm taking a different viewpoint of a situation that has been blown up that is ridiculous, and I'm just taking a different side, because it's always like to hear two sides. But I don't think they trade him, and I don't want him to trade, because I personally like TJ Watt as a Steeler, and any play could cause major situations for the opposing teams. I am just at wit's end on why the Steelers have not trying to help TJ Watt.
That's a good point.
And help Cam Hayward to get good to point. Where they need to be the best Steeler team that we've seen in many, many years.
You mean the next step we've been asking for years and years? The next step.
Yes.
We have the Minkas, we have the Cans, we have the
get
TJ.
Get these guys some help to get us over the hurdle. Like, what is the problem of getting us over the hurdle? Which could be another 10-hour show in the beginning, but they're not doing that. Like, Mason Rudolph is now our quarterback, and nobody ever seen this possibly happening. And this wasn't anything that if I would have put $1 in Vegas and said, oh, the starting quarterback for 2025 is going to be Mason Rudolph, here's my $1 in Vegas, I'd be a millionaire. No one's seen that.
Yeah, we thought it was going the Fields route. It was going the Wilson route. It was going this route.
I have to get behind Mason Rudolph and be pro Mason Rudolph right now. He's our number one quarterback. And I believe, as I drive in my vehicle, then I'm listening to Madden, which is crazy. I think
that's where it started. Madden started the shit.
A little bit, yeah, that fat bastard. But anyway, the thing that I will think and I will say probably on this show and on my show and all the shows, I can see Mason Rudolph being a comeback player of the year. He gets us to a playoff and a playoff victory. That could be something.
If they give him a chance, that's for sure.
Here's the keys to the car, Mason. Drive it out of the garage, take it down the road as many times as you want, and get us to where we need to go.
It depends if the Steelers are going to give him that off-season chance.
They have to.
You know? Well, Bubba, that was a fun conversation talking about TJ Watt, but that's where it came from, because the idea around Steeler Nation right now is some of the fan base wants him traded, or some of the fan base thinks he's upset or he's angry. I think that's false. And the Mark Maddens of the world and the ESPN guys saying, you know what, trade TJ Watt now and get some players back. So we went through pretty much every possibility that existed. And yeah, that was really good. That was fun. Toddy says, my veins are popping out too, Jamie, because we're getting pretty fired up. And this is what we'll do. That's our team.
This is a very in-depth conversation. It's getting the community up in uproar, because there is nobody in this chat that said trade TJ Watt. There has not one, and that is status quo. And I don't think they should trade him either. I was just doing it as a general manager if I was owning the team.
The thing is, it also shows you how much I guess faith and we have like support for TJ Watt and what we think and what the team's direction as well around our best player. I just don't think it would be actually, if the question maybe shouldn't exist, because it's probably not really a Steeler thing to do unless Omar Khan shocks the world and does it. I would actually probably break my computer. I would be in that much shock. I'd be like, what the fuck? They traded away the TJ Watt for 2 picks and what? You know? I would be insane.
Well, that would be the biggest shock probably in Steeler history.
Oh, big time.
That would and you're probably not the only one that would be busting stuff up. But it
would be, and then if it didn't work out and we went bad from there, we went 5 wins, 6 wins. The quarterback situation is still bad. The picks don't pan out. Then you're into bad.
Yeah, I can see like trading up for drafts to get a higher draft pick. We have done that, but not trading your marquee player, your superstar marquee player, off your team. Other teams have done that, not the Steelers.
Just one thing too. He's no drama. He just had his baby, got his family. He's no drama. He's got excellent football, brothers and JJ Watt. He has great advice from people. He's one of the best players to play for the Steelers. There's no drama with TJ Watt. He loves tackling Burrow. He's all about the Steelers. I just think you are right though, that they definitely need to help
him
TJ out and Cam out. That's something extra to make this team get that 27 points.
You don't want later on in life, like when they are retired, you don't want what if the Steelers would have helped us out, Cam, when they're sitting on the porch drinking some sarsaparillas? What about if the Steelers organization would have helped us out when we were playing for them? What we could have done, and then, something like just try to get it to them,
Well, Gene says DT in the first.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree.
And maybe that could be the help as well. And maybe it is. I'm not going to say it.
We have a high-powered defense. we have spot plays of showcasing the defense that we have, but the problem is that the whole NFL is not afraid of the Steelers defense anymore and the Steelers organization anymore, because when we went to places, I mean, they knew, even when we had shitty teams in the 80s, you knew you were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now nobody cares anymore. They got to get, maybe they have to go on some kind of retreat or something. And
same with the 2005 and 2008 defense. And nobody wanted to play the Steelers in 2008.
Right.
That was insane defense with Lawrence Timmons and James Debo Harrison and Troy 43 and Ryan Clark and all those dudes. B-Mac. There was tough people in that defense.
Casey Hampton, Aaron Smith's coming to Indiana, PA, I think next week.
Yeah, Brett Kiesel's going over to fucking Dublin to do a draft party. There's things happening. Yeah,
those guys, Casey, Aaron Smith, and Kiesel. That was a great defensive line. So if Cam had, him and Keanu Benton had some help, they could reenact that defensive line and get us to where we need to be.
Carth says retreat seems like an Aaron Rodgers thing. Hanging back in the darkness street.
Well, no, I don't want nothing to do with. Rodgers had his chance Wednesday. He didn't.
I think it could be done, to be honest. I think that the Rodgers thing, unless there's shock news again, I think his time might be up. I think the Steelers just go. You know what? Okay, my final thought, and we'll do a final thought, and we'll get out of here. My final thought before next week, when we do a podcast before the draft, probably draft coverage or whatever. I feel like the Steelers go into round one, get D linemen. They have no second round pick. They either might trade up if they can somehow. But if they don't, they'll go and get a running back, and then running back and quarterback. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to play boring. Yeah. They'll have a quarterback behind Mason Rudolph. He'll be their guy. They'll keep saying they failed on Aaron Rodgers. He retired. He didn't want to come over.
We still need to get a veteran backup quarterback, though. We need just a veteran quarterback. I don't know how that Skylar Thompson would be good as a backup in case something happens. I don't know.
That's a good point, too. Only reason defense plays poor is because offense doesn't let them rest enough. Too many.
That's true. Yeah, yep, I agree, Devil. That is so true.
We haven't had a good offense, like a time-consuming offense for a long time.
Yep, I agree.
But I do think the Steelers will play it maybe safe in the draft and get this needs of the team, like defensive line or whatever it may be. And we could see in 2025, like you said, Mason Rudolph. It's crazy enough to say he could be the guy to be QB1.
I'm saying it here, comeback player of the year. I'll say it right now at 8:18 p.m. on tax day. I said
tax day.
Yeah, it's tax. It's income tax day in America.
Well, it's my 10:18 a.m. So we better get out of here. One more question from Chloe: are you guys getting hyped up for the draft? I'm pretty hyped up. That was a great conversation.
I'm ready to do another mock. I'll probably do another mock draft on my own just to see what happens. That
would be the story around Mason Rudolph would be a great Pittsburgh story if he was playing good football. Sure. I think it'd be fantastic.
Everybody's gonna have the Mason Rudolph goatee. That'll be the thing.
He's looking like Afton called him Mason Wick the other day. But Toddy's right too. He does run the same spot. Like there needs to be better different schemes around stuff.
Switch him around.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see. I think he gives us the best chance to win in our defense. And they all gave up on Cam because people wanted to trade Cam away last year or the year before, and then he went absolutely bonkers. So. But we are missing some few things like the quarterback, and we've been talking to him for fucking months and years, and it just hasn't came through. Nope. Anything else you want to add, Bubba, before we end the show?
No, this is the craziest heated show in all.
Yeah, you threw a spanner in the works, mate.
I played the heel tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good.
As a face, but no, I'm a diehard Steeler fan. I want us to draft.
We know we're all good.
I know we need to draft the correct people. There is a lot of stuff. Next week's going to be crazy. Everybody's going to be on their TV. Everybody's going to be watching Mark and us do stuff. I know he's doing his show on Thursday. We're doing our show on Thursday. And then Friday, we're combining.
We'll be together on Friday. Yep.
Second round where we don't have a pick, but we'll just talk Steelers because we
we have a round 3 pick.
That's okay. We'll get. They'll make a trade. Maybe they'll make a trade. I don't know.
Yeah, so you've got your show tomorrow, Steelers Dines podcast on your channel.
Yes, I got JT Toth from Sports Rival coming in, and he's the big draft he's the draft guy. He'll know. Maybe I'm going to ask him what nose tackle or defensive tackle we can get if the guy Grant is taken in the first round. So
Jamie says, I was tired from working late, thought I was going to fall out, but you guys woke me up. Sorry, Jamie.
Well, sorry,
we do
Jamie.
appreciate the comments. That was really fun. And that shows you how passionate we are as Steelers fans, even if I am in fucking Australia and Bubba's wearing an ACDC shirt.
I love ACDC. I love ACDC. Yeah. They're coming May 7th to Pittsburgh, but I don't. I've seen them 5 times.
I kind of like that too, by the way. DT running back, then quarterback some points in my draft. I don't mind that. I think the Steelers, they maybe, if this whole Aaron Rodgers train is missed the boat or what's going or whatever, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
And go and get a quarterback behind Mason Rudolph. Maybe you have a QB competition and you see what happens. I don't know.
It's Mason Rudolph. I don't think there would be a competition, or shouldn't be. It should just be Mason Rudolph getting the keys to the car because he's never got his opportunity.
He never has. No, he never has. Into camp not by himself as QB1.
Right.
Not like a Russell Wilson or, the Big Ben or anyone else. He's never had that like, hey, Mason, don't you said, here are the keys.
Right.
You are now running June and July programs and getting ready for September.
And that adds a lot. That takes a lot off your mind and your mental preparation. If you already 100%, know
if it's your team,
going in as number one, and
he's always been the guy waiting on the bench or with a clipboard and like, oh, he's just QB number 2, all that kind of shit.
And Duck Hodges, I mean, he had to worry about good old Duck Hodges there. He was like, oh man, I'm almost winning the game in New York against the Jets.
And we know he can play too.
He got hurt, and then Duck come in, and then he never came back because he got hurt.
I think all 31 teams will laugh at us and say, "Oh, Mason Rudolph is."
Everybody is laughing at us. We are the laughing stock in media, laughing stock at other teams. Like, oh, the Steelers can't get their shit together because they can't even get a quarterback.
Yeah, but they'll say that. But real Steelers fans will know that Mason does give a chance to play QB1. It just depends what route they're going to go.
Right, they got to give him all the weapons. Let him throw the ball. He has a strong arm. I mean, in college, he threw for almost 500 yards in that stadium in college, right there. 12-5.
12, the goatee.
12-5 is getting us probably AFC North. We're clinching a title with a 12-5. If we sweep the Ravens,
there's not really one NFL fan base besides ours that would say Mason Rudolph could be QB1. There's not one. Not one of them. They'll all say he's QB2 and that's all he can be. So the bounce back redemption year could be that year for Mason Rudolph if the Steelers don't choose the direction of A-Rod and also the direction of QB high draft pick. If it's behind round 2 or 3, then it might be him. I'm happy this fucking year just to go through the year, and number 2 starts week 1 and we see how we go.
Yeah, I rather have Mason Rudolph than any Sanders coming to the team, because that's just going to be causing a lot of controversy and drama, and we really don't need that. And Mason needs to actually feel like he's a number 1 quarterback, because he had to go on. Ben never helped him out, and Garrett smashing his helmet.
Maybe how old is he? Maybe
redemption. It's always about a redemption story.
Mason Rudolph is what, 26? No, 27.
He's not even 30. He's like 20. What? Yeah, probably. He's
29, right?
He's young still.
29, 2-year deal. Maybe they are if he's the guy for the next 5 years. I don't know. Maybe he's the guy to the next quarterback they have under him or something like that. Maybe it could be the bridge quarterback we've been talking about fucking forever as well.
There it is, and we got him for a good deal for $7 million.
Yeah, it was good. All right, Bubba. Anything else you want to add, mate? Before we go?
No, I'm good. Good. Long live TJ Watt.
Oh, you do the peace sign. Bubba's getting traded. All righty. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you, everyone in the chat. That was really fun. Everybody. Over the next few weeks as well, we're doing draft content on the draft night. I'll be doing my stream. Bubba doing his on Steelers Dynasty podcast with Shane. They'll be separate. I'll be doing day 2. I won't be doing day 3 because I need to go to work. And also, I'm not getting up at 2 a.m. this time. So you guys might be doing day 3 or whatnot.
Maybe. Time that comes, I think that's I think that might be during the afternoon. I don't know. I might be working.
Yeah, so day 3 is from 12. It's actually my 2 a.m. I can't do it this year.
Yeah, I might be working, so I'm
a bit tired.
Yeah,
too much. Last year was just too much. I woke up.
I might do something after when I get home. I might do a recap or something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, we had we actually got over 352 on the subs.
There you go.
that Pat McAfee show almost had 1,000 views.
Yeah, you guys were in a long time.
I know. It was Blinko and sumo wrestling.
Jamie says Bubba found a soft spot in the chat, but that was definitely what we were talking about because everyone's talking about trading TJ Watt. But that's why he's such a lovable player. He's people love him. For our organization, he's a
very
great player.
Passionate. People are very passionate about that conversation. I mean, they were lighting up sports. And I think Gene was coming to my house and knocking on the door. Bubba, I'm coming. No,
all righty. So thank you, Jeddah. Thank you, Jamie, Chloe, and Joey, and everyone else in the chat. Gino and everyone else in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you for checking out Steelers Nation Australia, and also thank you for checking out our Steelers Dynasty podcast. 100%. That's why we're here. It's good fun. It's great fun. It's like I said. It always feels like we're at a bar, chilling, having beers, and going, Bubba, you said what?
Yeah. And well, next week it's starting now. Next week it's all. We'll have a lot to talk about starting next week. I
can't wait. I'm fucking over Aaron Rodgers. Don't care about the bloke anymore.
I don't care either.
And I'm just wanting to see who we draft. It could be a quarterback. What direction do we go? I'm sick of being linked to the quarterback situation that is A-Rod. We might just go a guy in the 3rd or 4th and go with Mason Rudolph and go with a young bloke at quarterback. That could be fun. It could be interesting. You know?
You heard it here tonight.
I did. I have to clip that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks everyone. Let me find the video. We'll get out of here and let's play this one. See you, Bubba. See you later.
Peace.
I'll see you guys later.
Hey, Rod.
Left the light on. See you later.